Welcome back to the final segment of this week's show, and before I talk to my next two guests, I want you to have a look at this.
So the heart of the kids on this land, and a father who wept for his son. So the grief on his face felt the pain that was laced with despair over what could be done.
So the pitiful sight of a young baby's sight, cancer, Chernobyl's grave, and the helpless tears the young mothers feel, stood in anger and me for their case, compassionate heart, and lose me to grace, lose me to our Lord.
Wow. You know, that's pretty hard-hitting stuff, and to explain a little bit more about the Ruel Foundation is David and Liz. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
So, David, the foundation, where did it begin?
I was out in the Philippines about 8 years ago, and I was on another humanitarian project, and I was in a very isolated area way out in eastern Samoa, and I was going through this hospital, and I came across this little boy, and he was lying on this hard steel bed, and he just had this IV in him. There was hardly anybody around, and he was essentially dying. And I had the person who was with me, I said, what's happening here? And he she explained to me that he had this cleft lip palate, which no roof to the top of his mouth, and he could hardly swallow. And he had actually been somewhat rejected by his parents as well. They already had a number of children and didn't want any more, and he was basically left to die. And I said, well, what would essentially save this child? And they said, milk powder. And I said, well, how much would the milk powder cost? And they said, about $11. I said, well, why isn't someone giving him the milk powder? We don't have the money. And I said, is he going to die because of $11 worth of milk powder? And they said, well, essentially, yes. I mean, I was amazed. So we went out, we got the milk powder, obviously, and that started us on a journey. And as we work with Roel, we found dozens of other kids that were in a similar plight. Some of them were hidden in villages. Some of them hadn't made it to the hospital, but because the hospitals are so underfunded, that there's nothing the hospitals basically can do for them anyway. So our journey began, and we started a foundation that we named after this little boy called Roel. And we've been going now for 8 to 9 years and treated maybe over 200 children now that have come through the program.
Wow. And it's just hearing you explain it, it's really something quite simple that we, living in Rotorua here, would go out and buy $11 worth of milk powder.
Yes.
But, you know, there are places where that's just not possible.
That's right.
Yeah. And Liz, you're public relations, so what's your function within?
Basically, I am the public face of Ruel, and I'm out walking on the streets and trying to get our name known. I try and get our donation boxes onto as many counters as I can, and I'll talk to as many people as I can just to tell them what we do.
And do you find that people are receptive to you? I mean, I'm not being a downer, but I mean, there's probably a lot of people wanting money for stuff.
There is, and that's the difficulty. I guess people want to see that the money is actually reaching where they're putting it, and with Ruel you can see that. You can see the children before we care for them, and then you can see them after we care for them. We have a public site on the web that people can look up and see before and afters and see what is happening, and they can actually see it working.
And how cool to be able to see. I mean, how cool to be able to know that the money that you've put in has helped this child to go from this to this.
Yes.
You know, that's something very special.
Very rewarding.
So, Ruel? Ruel. How's he doing now?
He's doing really well. He's in school. When we worked with him, we had a wonderful relationship with the local Catholic sisters in that little village, and they took him in, and then we would provide the funding for the process that he went through to get well, because we couldn't just do these surgeries right away. He was too weak. So we had to feed him, but he had the worms in his stomach were consuming what he was eating, and they couldn't give him the anti-worm medicine because that would kill him because he was too weak, and we had this incredible dynamic. But it was a learning curve for us because we began to understand exactly what the real issues were. So finally, after 2 years, we got him strong enough where they could give him the worm medicine. I remember the sister telling me that he threw up, past worms the size of small snakes, which was just amazing, and I've seen that out there. But now he's doing really well. We got him through his surgeries, and the cost of this is a fraction of what it is here. I mean, it's only 650 New Zealand dollars to do the full cleft lip and palate surgery. So it's relatively inexpensive, and they can do it right there in the Philippines relatively cheaply. So he's now moved on to school. He's doing really well. We're just looking at him, a photo of him this morning, and yes, it's very rewarding to see that.
So people, if they would like to find out more about the foundation or would like to donate, they obviously look out for the boxes around town. But is there anywhere else they can go to?
They can go onto our website.
Yep.
It's www.ruelfoundation.com, and it's all clearly put there.
So Ruel, R-U-E-L.
The one.
www.ruelfoundation.com. Thank you so much, guys, for coming in today and sharing that special story.
Wonderful.
And give our regards to Ruel next time you see him.
Yes, I will.
Thanks,
Steve.
Awesome. That's it. That's all we have time for on the show this week. Don't forget those 2 complimentary entries to the half marathon with the Kingsgate and the New Balance 10K fun run to give away. tvrotorua.co.nz and go to the Rotoview page to enter your name, and we'll announce the winners on next week's show. Take care, and we will see you next week on Rotoview, local and love it.